Well, alright, people. So I just got done watching Raw. As previously mentioned, I could not force myself to watch this for 3 hours straight. I had to take a little break in between, but I finally put myself through the torture of watching of watching 3 hours. A couple good things on this show, but I had a lot of problems with it, and I'll explain. So we started the show off with McIntyre, Goldberg, and Miz cutting a promo, and just a whole, just really a microcosm of what this whole show is. The first thing that happens on this show is, of course, a botch with McIntyre trying to shove his sword into the ground. That looked pretty shitty, huh? But then you get McIntyre pretty much just cutting a 2 or 3 minute promo. Half of it is on COVID, which has nothing to do with his match. Then the Miz and Morrison coming out or come out and of course are acting like goofy motherfuckers. Um, Goldberg then comes out and he literally says one sentence. So there you go, people. There's your build to one of the what should be one of the biggest matches of the year in WWE. You get you get a 50-some-year-old in the main event, 50-some-year-old part timer taking a spot away from somebody like AJ Styles who could be in the main event. You get one fucking promo where the challenger says literally one sentence, and that's your build, people. That's your build to this match. I mean, what a disgrace. Then Miz and Morrison get a spear and I think a claymore, and there you go. There's your build to your match. Hardly any build. I mean, what the fuck is this? Such a disgrace. Such a slap in the face to WWE fans. Then you get Charlotte and Baszler in this 1 minute matching and ending in a disqualification. Then a bunch of random ass divas just come out and start punching each other, which leads to this six diva tag match. And so you get a match. I've noticed they've been doing a lot of these, like a match that leads to another match. Instead of having 2 3 minute matches or 2 5 minute matches, just have one match and give that match a good amount of time instead of having two matches that have to split the time. It's not good. But in this case, you get a match that leads to a match that leads to another match. And let me explain here. So you had this six diva tag match, which was awful. There's this weird ass finish with a count out that just looked like a botch. It looked weird. I don't know what the fuck was up with that. But then they restart the match, and it did pick up a bit at the end. But this whole segment was still shitty. It was a clusterfuck. I don't know what the fuck it was. And this show is really lacking a general manager. Like, it would be nice to see a general manager come out and like make the announcements of this match. I know they got Adam Pierce, but he's like an official, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, they need to have an official general manager, and it doesn't have to be like, an intricate part of the show. They could just be like a Teddy Long, but it's just I feel like it really hurts the show. It's like matches are just made out of thin air. Like for example, later in the show, you get a gauntlet match between Riddle and three members of the Hurt Business. Like, who made that match? Like, that match kind of doesn't like it doesn't make sense because it's a match that really disadvantages the babyface. So you would figure a heel general manager would make that match, or maybe Riddle would like agree to that match to prove himself. But no, it's just made out of thin air with no explanation. Um, so yeah, these three matches all sucked. And it's like Adam Pierce comes out. He's like, "No, I'm not going to restart the match." "Oh, yes, I am going to restart the match." It's like, what the fuck's going on here? Then you get Xavier Woods defeating, I guess this guy's name is Slapjack. So you got a guy in Retribution named Slapjack, a guy who's named Mace, and then a guy who's named after a candy bar. It sounds like a candy bar, T-bar. So Woods defeats Slapjack in just a short, boring match. Then he gets beat up after the match. This match did nothing for anybody except put me to sleep. Then you get the Hurt Business coming out to cut a promo. It's really just a boring circle jerk between them. They give MVP a gift. Then R-Truth randomly comes out. Uh, and then a bunch of random people also come out. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck's the point? They're just fucking motherfuckers coming out punching each other. What the fuck is the point of this promo? Then Riddle comes out and knees MVP, just a pointless ass promo here. Then Sheamus defeats John Morrison. This was actually a good match, and you know why it was a good match? It's because it was longer than 3 fucking minutes. See what happens when you give matches proper amount of times. They actually turn out to be decent matches. So I got to give Sheamus and John Morrison credit here. This was a pretty good match. Not a great match, but a good match. Then this is what I'm talking about. You get matches out of matches. Like they love to do this for some reason. I don't know, but they've been doing a lot of this lately. So then we get a 2-on-1 match between Sheamus and Miz and Morrison. Um, I thought this was actually I didn't think it was as good as the first one. Between Sheamus and Morrison, but this was decent. It was all right. Maybe a little bit above average. I thought they should have put Miz over better because this guy is your Money in the Bank. He's going to be your next champion. So you really want him to feel maybe not like your top guy, but you want him to feel like more than a mid carder. And to me, he doesn't. And this is an example. Like you got a 2-on-1 here scenario, not a 2-on-1 tag match, a straight up 2-on-1 match, and they really had to. Uh, it just should have been easier for Miz and Morrison to win this match than it seemed like. Um, because again, Miz is Money in the Bank. You want him to appear like he's a good wrestler because he's going to be probably your next champion. But nonetheless, you got to give credit there to Sheamus and Morrison. I thought that was a good match. Then you have Styles defeating R-Truth in just a boring, pointless 3-minute match. You got AJ Styles, a great wrestler, who's just wandering around doing nothing, it seems like. I mean, he's with this big black motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with him, but AJ Styles is one of the best talents on this roster. He used to be feuding with Undertaker, feuding with John Cena. I think he was champion at one or 2 points in his time here in the last few years. But now he's just wandering around facing R-Truth of all people, just in random ass matches, like no storyline, no feuds. He's just out there. Like, what the fuck are they doing? This guy is very talented. And this is what I'm talking about. They'll take a guy and they'll put him in the main event, but they'll never develop any like big draw. They'll never develop the next Batista or the next Edge or the next Randy Orton or the next Hulk Hogan or the next John Cena. They won't develop any new stars because this is what they do. It's like when with Austin, with Steve Austin. Like even if he wasn't in the title picture, he was in a big time feud, always in one of the top feuds. It's like they can never do that. They can't build any new stars. Now they're just wasting AJ Styles. Then you have Alexa Bliss coming out to cut a promo. I've said before, I really like the Alexa Bliss character. I think it has potential to be really great, really interesting, an interesting thing to do. I like the bipolar thing, but this promo was just boring. It just was recapping the events from the previous weeks. I think they replayed the whole Orton promo in full. Like, how would you do that? Everybody saw it. Why do you need to replay the whole promo in full? Like, that's just a whole waste of time. So this promo kind of was just boring. Then you have Riddle defeating the Hurt Business so this was a 3-on-1 gauntlet match. There definitely was some good wrestling in here. I gotta give him credit for the good wrestling. But the problem I have is you have your tag team champions being defeated in a gauntlet match. Like, this is why the secondary belts in this company, whether it be the tag team belts, the U.S. title, the IC title, are so devalued. It's because you put a boring ass goof, a Zack Ryder wannabe, who's like a cross between RVD and Zack Ryder. I don't even know how to explain this guy. A guy that wrestles with no shoes on. You put this guy over in a gauntlet match over your tag team champions. Like, you could have had Matt Riddle just face, one person. Oh, if he wins, he gets a U.S. title shot. Put him over and maybe a fluke victory, maybe a roll-up, something like that. Okay. But a gauntlet match that devalues the worth of your tag belts? No. And by doing this, by making a match 6 days before the pay per view, you get absolutely no build to the actual match whatsoever. And I know they've been kind of feuding, but not really. Like they've been feuding, but they really haven't been building up to a title match because the match was just created today. Then we get news that Edge is entering the Royal Rumble. You guys know I'm no fans of this pre-taped uh, of pre-taped promos or pre-taped matches. I know it's COVID, which they feel like they can do that now. I guess it's acceptable, but I like live promos. That's one of the great things about WWE or wrestling in general is it's a live show. It's what makes it unique from other entertainment like movies or TV shows. It's not pre-taped. So I don't like when they do this shit. They should have had Edge come out and cut a fucking promo. I mean, it was a good promo. It was a decent little promo, but the fact that it's pre-taped, I feel really takes away from the genuine aspect of it, and I don't like when they do these. So I guess Edge is going to be in the Rumble again. I mean, definitely adds to the Rumble. I think it would have been cool if they would have made it a surprise because that is, after all, what the Royal Rumble match is about. But I guess they need more people to buy the pay per view, so they're not going to make it a surprise. Um, I mean, they could have even like kind of teased it too, like made it a rumor. Oh, we hear Edge maybe in the Rumble, make it a rumor. I don't know, but like to just come out and say it outright and not make it a surprise, which the Rumble's all about surprises. I don't know. Um, I just feel like they want more people to buy the stupid network, which is overpriced. Oh, but Ruthless Ranter, it used to be 44 bucks to buy the pay per view. I don't give a fuck. This company doesn't deserve 10 cents out of my wallet. Um, then you get the main event, which is Alexa Bliss in Azuka in a tag team or tag. It's fucking late, people. I'm kind of tired. In a match for the Divas title. So why are you having a match for the Divas title 6 days before the pay per view? I mean, I wouldn't mind if they have a match, but why have a match for the title 6 days before the Rumble? And you know they should be fighting for the title at the Rumble. I don't get why they're doing this now. It's kind of confusing. I thought it was a decent main event. Like I said, I keep saying the same shit, but it's important, right? Like this Alexa Bliss character, I enjoy it. I think it's a good character. I like the bipolar shit where she's like smiling and then she gets into this mood uh, where she's kind of like fucked up, kind of like a girl that's always on her period, right? Kind of emotional, always changing emotions. No, I'm just kidding, people. But I like it. It's a good character. It's a cool character. It's an interesting character. But I just can't get past this magical shit that defies the laws of physics. I can't get past the fireballs. I can't get past the changing in and out of outfits in point one, in hundredths of seconds. You get fucking. I think it was Tom Phillips saying, "Oh, I blinked and her outfit changed." Shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck is this, people? This isn't supposed to be a show that's based on science fiction. This is supposed to be a show that's based on reality. And I get with wrestling, with WWE, you can stretch what reality really is. You can kind of stretch it, but you still want to resemble reality. You still want to make it halfway believable. I mean, her changing outfits in less than a second, just them, flashing, going in and out, and just a second later, oh, she's got a new outfit on. Like, I hate that shit. I mean, I get, you can do certain things with this. I mean, you could do things with this character that are believable and still make it a very interesting character. But when you do fireballs, when you do this shit, it really takes away from me. Um, so then you got Orton returning, coming back, and RKOing Alexa Bliss. I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. So, I mean, a decent main event, but the magical shit, it really, from my point of view, takes away from this character. And I mean, again, you could make a stretch with like characters like the Undertaker and Kane and go to the world of like spirits and shit like that, and play off of that, because there's a lot of people out there that do believe in spirits and ghosts and shit. So I mean, you could play that a little bit, I feel like. But when you start doing shit like changing outfits in like 1/10 of a second, or throwing fireballs, like nobody believes there's anybody in the world that can throw a fireball. Like there's been zero recorded cases in human history of people just throwing fireballs. I mean, if you go on YouTube, you could type in ghosts, and there's a lot of people that, oh, I've seen ghosts, I've seen ghosts. But if you type in person throws fireball, you're never gonna find anything on that. I mean, it's so stupid. Um, but I do think this character is decent. You know, Orton RKOing Bliss was cool. So you had a couple good things on this show. I thought again the main event was a decent little thing. You had some good shit in there. Good wrestling between Riddle and the Hurt Business, despite them devaluing the tag team belts. And I did think the Miz and Morrison match was a good match, but still a lot of shit on this show. You know, your main match at the Royal Rumble has little build to it, and it includes a fucking man who's 20 years past his prime. And then of course you always have your worthless segments on this show, your filler, which unfortunately takes up a majority of the show. Your matches like Xavier Woods versus Slapjack, or your Six Diva tag match that ends with a botched finish, or AJ Styles versus R Truth. You always have your filler like that. So at least not everything was terrible on this show. At least you had a couple good things. But heading into the Rumble, really not much promise. Like, you look at this show and it's like, okay, where's the build to the Rumble? Like, the Rumble doesn't feel like a special pay per view. It just feels like another fucking pay per view. Not even that, because there's hardly any mention of it. It's like you got Charlotte and Alexa Bliss who are your women's tag champs. They've hardly talked about them. You got just this match has like no build to the Rumble. So, um, and I'll address that in a future video. I'm probably gonna do a video ranting on the Rumble, or predictions video, or both. I'll do videos on both of those topics. We'll see. But I feel like there's a lot of deficiencies with the build to the Royal Rumble, which has always been a problem with this company, is that they fail to properly build for their pay-per-views, and especially their big-time pay-per-views like the Royal Rumble. I mean, this is a big-ass pay-per-view. This is probably your number 2 pay-per-view, and it really doesn't feel special to me. It does not feel special at all, and I will address that. But there you go, people. Let me know what you thought about Raw in the comments. I thought it was a pretty mediocre show, but let me know what you thought. So there you go, people.